What's up, everybody? This is the Figuring It Out Finance podcast. My name is Chris Rickenbaugh, and my goal is to help young adults get started on their financial journey. So let's figure it out together. So you're probably wondering, what is this podcast? Who is this person? So let me get started telling you a little bit about who I am and what my goals are for this podcast. You can find me at figuringitoutfinance.com. On all the socials, figuringitout.finance on Instagram. You can find me on TikTok. And basically what I'm doing is letting college students, letting beginners in this finance world just kind of figure it out. Because what starts to happen is all these guys who start out at rock bottom like me, I'm 2 years out of college, they start at that level and then they start building up to, the Bigger Pockets, the Bigger Pockets podcast, the bigger episodes, they could start in real estate with single family, one live and flip. Now they're talking about commercial properties and funding and all of that. And that's just a little bit out of range for right now. So where I want to focus at is the college student or just about to graduate high school or basically just getting started in personal finance to begin with. So a little bit about me. My name is Chris Rickenbaugh, and I graduated from Lenoir-Rhyne University in North Carolina. And a little bit before that, I'm just a young kid from Ohio and came down to try and get into racing. So pole vault let me get into Lenoir-Rhyne, and it kind of took off from there. But a little bit about my money story is I really didn't have a huge money interest. When my parents would give me some money, they would say, put 50% in savings. And I always thought, man, that sucks. That's way too much. I'm not going to have any money to spend. So I guess I had a little bit of, a weird feeling about money. But after my freshman year of college and I stayed in North Carolina to work, I really had to start figuring it out. I didn't want any help from my parents. I wanted to be able to figure it out on my own, and that's what I did. So I was paying for my apartment, food, groceries, electric, internet, everything, and I had to figure that out. So what I did was I started tracking it. And with work, I started tracking the income too, and then that basically comes to a profit loss statement every month once you put it into a spreadsheet. So after that, I was able to start putting it into a budget, and then it kind of went from there and got a little bit more detailed and a little bit more detailed to where I'm at now, and all the reading and the educating I've done on myself with the books. So anything I'm coming from is pretty much regurgitated information from all the books I've read and taking that information and actually doing it. So once I graduated college, I wanted to buy my first house. I started reading about personal finance and really diving in my senior year of college to where I started reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, Set for Life, and then some of the Bigger Pockets books where they focus more on real estate. And then that made me think, why did I ever go to college? I should have just started buying real estate when I was in high school and turned 18. So once I started reading those books, it was a little bit more of a security thing. Like, okay, I'm not crazy. I'm on the right path. And here's how I do it. So once I graduated college, I got a job and was able to buy my first house here in Kannapolis, North Carolina, which is a little bit of a fix and flip. So I was struggling to find funding because it wasn't enough money for hard money. So I was able to go through the Bigger Pockets community, which I'm going to shout out a lot on this podcast because they're the inspiration for a lot of the finance and real estate that I'm doing. But where they took me, and I was able to connect with a couple different people at a couple of different meetups in the Charlotte area, and they were able to tell me how to fund the deal through credit lines through American Express. So I figured out how to do that, got my credit lines, got my contractors together, figured out what I needed, and that was a little over a year ago. So I bought the house in December of 2022, and I just finished up all the renovations and the financing part in April of 2024. So it took a lot longer than what I thought I was going to do, but now I'm paying off the cards, and I found special financing for a 95% loan to value HELOC, which we can dive into later. But that allowed me to have about $60,000 in reserves right now, or access to $60,000 from that HELOC, which I'm able to use to my advantage right now. And I'm trying to figure out strategically what to do. So what my goals are by the end of the year is to have 5 rentals, whether that's co-hosting, whether that's flips, wholesale deals. I want to do at least 5 more this year, and then be able to build this figuring out finance up to where I can start helping other people do the same thing, mainly in that college level, to where they're starting to figure it out in the beginning. And because it's so intimidating to get started, because your money isn't really it's not a physical thing. It's an emotional thing. And that's where a lot of people get caught up. So being able to get over that emotional side and look at it at a spreadsheet and say, hey, this is where my money's going. Here's what I'm doing. All right, how do I get to this next step? And that's where I really want to help people, because I was put through the Dave Ramsey course while we were in high school, and he has so many great starting out tips, and he helps so many people that are in debt. But for the people who aren't in debt and just looking to start fresh and figure it out and learn to invest, these college kids or these high school kids aren't going to be interested in, their 401ks and retiring at 65. They want to go travel for free. They want to go to that party. They're not thinking about that 401k or that job. So that's where I want to come in. I want to be able to show them how to do it. I just recently looking to book my Hawaii flights based on the credit cards that I used for the funding on the house. That I'm going to have a whole free trip to Hawaii, or an 8-day trip, flights, hotels, completely free. And that's where the travel hacking comes into that as well, which is what I would love to teach people how to do. So that's enough about me. So the goals of the podcast is to be able to help those students figure out, what they want to do, how to get started, what accounts they need to get started. Travel hacking is going to be a big topic on this podcast, mainly just because it's so interesting for people. I never thought I was going to be able to visit Hawaii. And when I thought, it's going to be probably $3,000 to $4,000. And now I'm probably looking at under $100 on hotels and airline tickets total. So that's huge. And then I'll be spending about 7 to 8 days there. And I just got back from Colombia for a week, which was an awesome trip, and that was through travel hacking. And then I had 2 flights to St. Louis round trip that were only $22 total for both tickets. So the travel hacking is definitely what I want to dive into and what a lot of people are going to be interested in. So keep following on the topics. And about to wrap up this first episode here, but keep listening. Give me suggestions. Go fill out my questionnaire on the website at figuringitoutfinance.com. Give me some things to talk about on here and let me know your questions. So thanks for listening, and check out the next episode.